The film starts in the home of Evangeline Evie Babbage, who is caring for her ailing and unresponsive mother, Evelyn, while singing Ba Ba Black Sheep lullabies to her. Evelyn is a very religious person, as is seen from the different portraits and figurines of Jesus Christ, Holy Mary, and other saints all around the house, and she has clearly had a strong influence on Evie's early years. At around 2:30 a.m., Evie calls her friend, Justin Manuel, to start recording their weekly horror-themed podcast, The Undertone. Evie is the skeptic as they discuss supernatural events, while Justin is the true believer. Before getting into the show, Justin asks Evie about her mother's condition. She tells him that she is still unresponsive and hasn't eaten in 2 days. Evie, despite feeling bad, says she wants it to be over and leave somewhere else. Justin asks her about her boyfriend, Darren, and gets angry when he learns that he doesn't help out Evie at all. Justin is sympathetic to her situation and offers to take some time off work to help her out, but Evie tells him she can manage. He also offers to skip this episode if she needs some time, but Evie says the podcast is the only thing keeping her sane. The duo starts their show with Justin mentioning a viral blog video they covered in their last episode called I Feel Wonderful, which is just an image of a smiling woman that appears to slowly distort, and allegedly made over 90 people slice off their ears and mail them to the blog website headquarters before committing suicide. Evie plays the video, which creeps Justin out even though she tells him it is fake. For this episode, Justin reveals a file that was sent to their podcast email from an anonymous source. He sends the email to Evie, and she sees the message of the file as just descending letters that read, Atonement at Tenet, and an upside-down smiley face. The file contains 10 audio files, and Justin says he has listened to only the first audio before deciding to listen to it together with her for the first time in the podcast. From the first audio he heard, Justin has managed to know that it is a phone recording of a young couple, and the girlfriend's name is Jessa, but he hasn't yet known the boyfriend's name. They play the first audio file and hear the boyfriend saying that Jessa talks in her sleep every night. But since she doesn't believe him, he has decided to record her when she sleeps. During the first few hours of the night, the couple is sound asleep, but Justin skips 4 hours into the audio where there is a sound bump. They hear Jessa not only talking, but also quietly singing London Bridge in her sleep. After that, she sleeps quietly for the rest of the night. They continue to the second audio file, and Justin again skips to the audio bump. This time, they hear Jessa sleepwalking while London Bridge is playing in reverse. While they hear this, Evie thinks she heard something in her home, but quickly gets back her focus. Justin plays the audio again, saying he heard the London Bridge reverse is actually saying the killer is out, might kill all. But Evie doesn't hear it and tells him that he is probably creating meaning from random sounds. This prompts Justin to search up Eleanor of Provence, who was the queen consort of England during the Middle Ages. She was the one who financed the construction of the London Bridge, and all 9 of her children died during childhood. It is said that she feared the bridge would collapse if she didn't sacrifice children to it, so she ordered orphans to be buried alive within the foundation. Still, Evie doesn't buy it, saying that almost all children's songs can be interpreted in messed up ways. To prove her point, she tells him to look up Ba Ba Black Sheep for hidden meanings. Evie also mentions that her mother used to sing it to her when she was a kid. As she said, Justin also finds a hidden message there. They play it in reverse, and again, Justin hears some meaning while Evie doesn't hear anything. He reads to her an article he found on the dark, hidden message of the song. The song is about a sheep farmer whose sheep all turned out black, but during that time, black wool was useless because it couldn't be dyed other colors. So the farmer ends up with nothing to sell. When winter came, the farmer and his family starved to death until one day, the villagers found his sheep eating their bodies. Evie is a little disturbed by the story, but she still doesn't believe it is true. Nonetheless, the duo continues to the third audio file. This time, the boyfriend's name is revealed to be Mike as Jessa wakes him up in the middle of the night after hearing something. It turns out to be the sink water running. Evie starts to feel unsettled by the background noises, believing they are coming from her own home. And unbeknownst to her, the kitchen light turns off by itself. Justin is invested in listening, but Evie asks if they can take a break. Justin agrees, and they decide to continue recording in a few days. Before they hang up, Evie asks him to send her the Ba Ba Black Sheep song to try to hear what he heard. After they hang up, Evie sees the lights from Evelyn's room turn on. She goes to her room, but Evelyn is still sleeping. The next day, Evie wakes up with morning sickness and schedules an appointment for a pregnancy test. Later, Evelyn's nurse shows up to check up on her. She tells Evie that her heart rate is quickly decreasing day by day, hinting that her time is coming. Evie asks how she will know when it is time, and the nurse tells her that she will hear a rattle in her breath, which is also known as the death rattle. Evie feels sad at the fact that she isn't able to talk to her mother, knowing she is going to pass away soon. Evie then gets a call from Darren, who invites her to a party at his house. She is reluctant because there is no one to watch over Evelyn, but he tells her that it will be good for her to step out of the house, and Evelyn is going to sleep all night. Later that night, Evie gets ready to go to the party, but sees that Evelyn has soiled herself. She cleans her mother up and tells her that she will only be going out for a few hours. Evie ends up spending the entire night out and returns in the morning. She goes up to Evelyn's room and is shocked to discover her mother on the floor after she fell from her bed, but she is still unresponsive. Evie puts her back to bed and apologizes for leaving her alone. As she sits by her side, she sees a figurine of the Holy Mary there with children crawling onto her. This unsettles Evie enough for her to put it in the drawer. Inside the drawer, she finds a creepy crayon drawing of some kind of evil woman she drew as a kid. At night, Evie goes downstairs to work. She listens to the audio file of Ba Ba Black Sheep that Justin sent her and plays it in reverse, hearing something that sounds like, "Look and lick the blood off." Suddenly, she gets startled when she receives a call from a doctor, who confirms that she is 6 weeks pregnant with Darren's baby. The doctor tries to refer her to OB/GYN physicians for her future pregnancy checkups, but Evie likes some time to think about her options before making any decisions. This completely came as a surprise to her since she is in a tough time. The next day, as she is washing the dishes, Evie hears a noise coming from upstairs. She goes to check it out and finds the bathroom sink water running. She closes it and goes to Evelyn's room, but Evelyn is still unresponsive. There, she also sees the figurine of the Holy Mary is out of the drawer. She quickly puts it in the closet this time, but unbeknownst to her, a mirror reflection there shows Evelyn standing behind her. That night, Evie gets a call from Darren, but she ignores it. She pours some whiskey into her cup and starts drinking while she hears Evelyn's old voicemail, where she asks her if she is going to come to church for Mass and reminds her that she will be praying for her. She selects the part of the voicemail where Evelyn says, "I'm praying for you," and starts to hear it on repeat. This unsettles her enough for her to do some digging on hidden messages behind children's prayers. She finds some creepy images as well as some articles that suggest it might be interpreted in an evil and heinous way. Her research is then interrupted when Justin calls her. They talk a bit about Evelyn's condition and Evie's plan after. He also asks her if she started drinking again, to which Evie says she is not. They continue recording for their podcast and play the fourth audio file. This time, Mike finds Jessa playing with a creepy doll that says things like, "I like it here in the dark," which disturbs Mike, but also reveals that the couple was expecting a child. Later in the night, the couple is woken up by what sounds like a loud, thumping sound, something that Evie speculates is just faulty plumbing. But Justin says he has heard something else just before the thumping. He plays it back, and they both hear what sounds like someone whispering, but couldn't make out what it is saying. Evie says that it might be an overlap of a previous recording. The duo continues and plays the fifth audio file. This time, a terrified Mike records Jessa talking in her sleep, where she says something backward repeatedly, saying it louder and louder each time before Mike finally wakes her up. This unsettles Evie, and she says she needs some sleep. Justin agrees, and they stop the recording. He asks her what she thinks, and Evie says she will try to figure out what the whispering was saying in the fourth audio file. They decide to continue recording within a few days before hanging up. Evie then notices the light from Evelyn's room flickering. She goes to check it out, and a figure dressed in a white gown briefly appears behind her before the light starts working properly. The next day, Evie continues to take care of her mother and tries to get her something to drink, but Evelyn doesn't drink. That night, Evie investigates the whisper that is heard in the fourth audio file. She slows the section of the whisper and cranks up the volume to hear that the whisper is actually saying the word Jessa was saying in her sleep in the fifth audio file. Since the word doesn't make sense, Evie plays it in reverse, discovering that the voice is saying, "Come in, Abizu." She plays it over and over again, and unbeknownst to her, invites something demonic into her home. She notices one of the lights there flickering before she sees the figure in a white gown standing in the dark while breathing heavily. The breathing gets louder and louder before Evie wakes up from a kind of sleep. The next night, she and Justin learn that Abizu is the name of a mythical demon from Middle Eastern and European folklore. She has even appeared in the Bible, where it is said that she suffered from infertility, leading her to brutally kill other women's children out of envy. King Solomon had her hanged as a punishment, but her envy survived in the afterlife, twisting her into a demon who wanders the world and would cause miscarriages or force mothers to murder their children. It is also believed that Abizu entered the statue of Saint Rita of Cassia, the patron saint of cursed mothers. According to some locals, one woman who used to worship the statue killed both her husband and her newborn baby before placing the baby's skull and an inverted cross on the statue's hand. This clearly disturbs Evie, but she says they should continue to the sixth audio file. Justin asks if she is alright, to which Evie says she is. Justin plays the sixth audio file. This time, Mike is heard asking Jessa if she remembers anything from the night before, but she doesn't. Justin says he sees overlapping voices in the file when Jessa was screaming, "Come in Abizu," in reverse. This leads him to highly suspect that it is indeed a demonic possession, but Evie says it is probably a mental problem, disregarding the overlapping voices. They play the seventh file, where the couple is heard going to sleep as usual. Justin skips a few hours into the sound bump, where a baby crying can be heard from the other room, waking Mike up. He sees Jessa is out of her bed, so he rushes to where the crying is coming from. Jessa lets out a frightening scream, telling Mike she thinks she saw a baby in the kitchen sink, but he says there's nothing there. Evie assumes it's just the neighbor's baby. Justin tries to email the sender of the files, asking him who he is, but the message bounces back as the sender had already deleted his account. Justin then notices the random letters on the sender's address actually spell "Come in Abizu" in reverse. Even though he is starting to feel creeped out, Evie makes him play the eighth file. Jessa is heard waking Mike up because of the banging sound in the walls again. Mike goes to check it out as Jessa begs him to stay with her. "Ba Ba Black Sheep" is heard playing clearly until it abruptly cuts out, and more baby crying noise is heard before Jessa suddenly starts screaming in terror. Mike immediately rushes to her and finds her crying while telling him she saw her. This completely shakes both Evie and Justin, as the "Ba Ba Black Sheep" song that is heard in the audio file is the same version they downloaded. Evie, however, tries hard not to believe it, saying it is a coincidence. Justin looks up "Come in Abizu" spelled backwards and finds a study where psychologists treated two separate patients obsessed with "Come in Abizu" spelled backwards, leading the first woman to spend days texting the word to random numbers before drowning her 9-month-old daughter in the kitchen sink. The second woman was a ceramic artist, and she made hundreds of figurines of dead children before handing them out to young women in her neighborhood. Because of this, she was admitted to a mental hospital, where she later committed suicide while being 5 months pregnant. Justin wants to trash the episode because he thinks they have taken things too far, but Evie insists they continue, saying they will make it a 2-part episode, releasing the first part on schedule and recording part 2 next week. She tells him that people will love it, and Justin reluctantly agrees. They record the outro and also invite people to their weekly live call session that will be held after the first part is published, and welcome people with more info on Mike and Jessa. After they finish up, Evie goes back upstairs to check on her mother. She tells Evelyn about her pregnancy and that she is planning to name her daughter Mary, but also admits how she doesn't feel fit to be a mother. Suddenly, the light in Evelyn's closet appears to turn on by itself. As Evie goes to check it out, Evelyn creepily rises up and stares at her. But when Evie turns back around, she finds her still in her sleeping position. Evie later goes to bed, but couldn't sleep. So she puts on some guided sleep meditation through her ear pods as she tries to sleep. But the relaxing speech slowly starts to turn dark as the voice distorts into something demonic. A kind of vision is seen of Evie getting terrorized and possessed, and even losing her child, before she snaps out of it. She takes off her ear pods only to hear Evelyn speaking from her room. Evie goes out to check and hear her praying the Hail Mary. She goes to her dark room as Evelyn continues to pray, but the moment she turns on the light, she abruptly stops and is seen still sleeping. Evie desperately tries to make her talk again, but unfortunately, Evelyn is still unresponsive. She apologizes and lies on her mother in defeat. Evie later calls back the doctor to accept his referral to the women's clinic, as she has decided to go on with her pregnancy. After she leaves the room, Evelyn begins having the death rattle, and she takes her last breath before passing away. The next week, Evie and Justin begin recording the final part of their episode with the last 2 audio files left. Evie is also seen drawing something with her crayon. Before they begin listening, Justin gives their listeners a warning saying that once they start this final part, there is no going back. Evie laughs at this, saying that there is only one explanation for what was going on in the audio files. She declares that the whole thing is a hoax and that Jessa and Mike are just attention seekers. However, Justin is fully convinced that it is real. He also mentions that they will be having live call sessions with their listeners. Justin begins playing the 9th audio file, where Jessa is heard crying while she tells Mike about seeing a shadow by her bedside. She says she was so afraid she started praying the Hail Mary, but then the shadow started praying too. Her cry then slowly turns into twisted laughter until the audio abruptly cuts out, confusing both Evie and Justin. Justin also says that the time on his computer is glitching. The first caller rings from Evie's area code, and a man tells them that Jessa and Mike were his neighbors who were found dead by police at the bottom of their stairs with plastic bags over their heads and dead babies drawn on the walls. The caller confirms Jessa was 5 months pregnant. Before they can ask him for more info, the call breaks up. Another caller rings, and this time, a woman from San Diego says that a crazy lady from her childhood rented out her family's home's basement and would play children's songs backwards every night before later getting arrested for killing her baby by putting it in a garbage bag and smashing it against a wall. At the same time, Evie continues to draw violently to the point that the crayon breaks. After they finish up the call with the woman, Evie bursts out laughing, saying that the woman was just faking the story so that she could be included on the podcast. But Justin fully believed her story. Justin hesitates to play the final audio file, saying that the email account that sent the audio file said atonement at Tenet and suspects that Tenet means 10th file, and that it could be a final warning not to play it. But Evie urges him to do so, saying that it is already too late. Justin reluctantly plays the final audio. In it, Jessa says that she is listening and that she needs to warn her, presumably talking about Evie. Mike says that she is burning up and they need to go to the hospital, but Jessa seemingly runs off as the banging sound returns. Meanwhile, Evie starts to feel a presence around her as Jessa says, "Look and lick all the blood off now." The audio stopped by itself before Evie notices the clock there stops working. She tells Justin that they should stop listening, but the audio begins playing Ba Ba Black Sheep in reverse. They hear Mike looking for Jessa as she is heard screaming and crying in terror. Evie notices one of the lights there flickering before it explodes, and the lullaby stops. Jessa then says, "Justin, I'm so cold," as multiple babies are heard crying. This deeply disturbs Justin, questioning how she mentioned his name, but Evie blames him, thinking he is behind this. Suddenly, another caller rings, demanding to speak to Mary. Despite telling her there is no Mary, the caller just repeats she would like to speak to Mary over and over as the voice distorts into something demonic before they hang up. A fourth caller rings and says that they shouldn't have listened to the tapes, because Abizu lurks in the 10th file and waits for her victims to hear her. Unbeknownst to her, the figure again appears behind Evie, but when she turns around, it disappears. The caller laughs as she tells them that she is here to lick all the blood off her finger before the call cuts off. Evie then sees the random drawings she did and puts them all together to see that it resembles the image of Abizu surrounded by multiple dead babies. A fifth caller rings, and a woman, who identifies herself as Abby, desperately asks Evie and Justin for help with her crying baby. She says that she is no good and doesn't know what she is doing. The duo then hears what sounds like Abby drowning her baby. They ask her for her address so they can call the police, but Abby continues to try to drown her baby while crying about how she is no good. Evie tries to get through to her by saying that she killed her own mother. She tells her that when she was little, Evelyn would pray for her every night. And when Evelyn was first sick, she used to ask Evie to pray with her, but Evie gave her fake reasons to avoid praying with her until one day, Evelyn stopped talking, eating, and became unresponsive. It was too late. She tells Abby that she is good because she believes it. But Abby's sobbing slowly turns into malicious laughter before the duo hears a banging noise, indicating that Abby has killed her baby. The 10th audio continues playing the Ba Ba Black Sheep song. Justin starts freaking out as all the lights in Evie's house start flickering. All the religious portraits are gone as the TV starts playing the "I Feel Wonderful" video, turning into a terrifying face. She tries to unplug the TV, but it won't turn off. Evie then turns around to see all her equipment gone, and instead finds the creepy drawing of Abizu. She then rushes to the kitchen as the sink water is running and the stove is turned on. Suddenly, all the lights start exploding, leaving Evie in the dark. She screams for Justin, and he tells her he will go get help as Evie begs him not to leave her. Come in Abizu, in reverse, starts playing as numerous drawings of dead children appear all over the walls. Brief flashes of a victim with a bag over their head are also seen, which is strongly implied to be Evie. When she goes to Evelyn's room, she is no longer in her bed and only finds the Holy Mary figurine. Evelyn then emerges from the closet and starts to approach Evie as she screams in terror, and the screen cuts to black. Evie can be heard screaming in terror and calling for Justin, saying she is cold. Baby's cries are heard before Evie starts repeating, "Come in, Abizu," backwards with another demonic voice saying it with her.